Hi, guys. My name is Maria Park, and welcome to Approach the Nerd. And in this episode, we are reacting to the brand new freeform trailer for Motherland Fort Salem Season 2. Are you ready for War College? And I'm probably not, but we're going to check this trailer out anyway and see what is going on. So here we go.
These are the foundational principles of War College. To know you must be constantly seeking the truth. To dare to be fearless, not just in facing the enemy, but also what lies inside you. To will to effect change in the world. And to keep silent. All secrets keep.
Motherland, Fort Salem, Tuesdays at 10 on Freeform. Next day on Hulu.
Okay, some things I have noticed. I do see why people are now shipping Tally and Alder because I don't know what Sarah's doing to Tally, but it looks very sexual.
I mean, to be fair, in the last episode, the premiere episode, it at the end after they had technically severed the Biddy connection, or not really severed it, but gave Tally her youth back. There was a scene where Tally's still hooked on the Alder. Alder is like a drug now. And if you watch my review or my stream of that, I did say that was a little bit shady, for reasons I explained in my stream. But yeah, the connection is not supposed to be as strong, I guess, as days go by. I mean, it will fade, but this does not look like a normal connection. This here does not look normal to me. So I don't know what's going on with this. Yeah, that's a thing. I see we finally got to see Gregorio, I think his name is going to be, played by the actor who plays Gil Bopsy and Nancy Drew on the CW. He's supposed to be a male witch who also comes from the same influential rich background that Abigail comes from. And he doesn't like how male witches are treated. The fact that he's marching with all women is very interesting. So I don't know what that's about, because I would have assumed he would have been with the other male witches, that we saw in season 1, that just were with the witch father and made weapons and gave them to the trainees. That's what it looked like. But I don't actually know what their role is besides procreation and making weapons. But maybe this will be our chance to see exactly what male witches do in the war, especially with the Camellia, because they are out for blood. And one thing that's interesting to me is that, all of the anti-army and witch and spree hate, which granted, the spree did cause a lot of that by killing a bunch of innocent people. It's starting to resemble how the riots and stuff are in real life. So more than likely, everything that's happened with the Capitol and all this stuff has inspired this whole storyline, even though it's an alternate universe or alternate world, whatever. But yeah, I think it's interesting because they all have one common enemy right now, which is the Camarera. And I really want to know more about the Camarera, especially since there's this picture where we see, it looks to me, and I'm only saying this because, I'm part Native American. My grandfather came off a reservation, and I recognize a bow and arrow when I see it. And this man looks native to me, even though he's in the shadows. I want to know if, this is something out of maybe Alder's past, only because if I remember correctly, the Chippewa session was basically formed when the Native Americans, to extend Alder's life, gave her the ability to create biddies. They basically taught her the magic to split her mortality among other witches. And because of that, they were able to negotiate the Chippewa session and the huge, massive land. So Native Americans in this world are basically treated a lot better than they are in our actual world. So they have, more say over their own, culture. It's not, as from what I can tell, in Motherland Fort Salem, there was not a cultural genocide. So I wonder if that is a scene from Alder's past. And that is the scene where she, they negotiate and they do show her how to extend her life. Because she's been alive for over 300 years. So that's a lot. If that's not a scene from her life, is there something like an expiration date or a time limit on how long she can extend her life using this method that she was taught by the Native Americans? So our First Nations. So it's really interesting. I'm very curious to see why we have this picture, that picture of this Native American that's peering out of the smoke. And also, like, who are they fighting in the shadows? Like, there's a bunch of shadowy, smoke, like, images. Unless this is actually a test, maybe it's something conjured, in War College, because it does look like they're out on a mission for school. So that could just be something that's conjured. But if it's not, can the Camerera do that? Because I was under the impression that they had no magic, that they, the reason they were taking the witches' voices and, distorting them into this creepy little tech around their necks was to simulate having the same abilities. I don't foresee the Camerera having magic. So what is that about? So I'm very curious as to what that actually means. The dream that Tally keeps having, I keep wondering if that's also a memory from the past, and it is something that maybe occurred during Alder's timeline with the Chippewa session, or I think it's actually later, because I think one of the women that was with her is the woman that works, at the lab. Basically, it basically is the one that does all of the sciencey stuff and who takes care of the magical mushroom. So I don't think that this is something that's way in the past. And quite frankly, this really could be a future memory. Or not a memory, but like a premonition, because we do know that Tally has pretty strong insight. So she could be seeing something that's going to happen and has not happened yet. So that's also interesting. There's so much. I'm excited for this season. The season looks crazy. From what I can also tell, for some reason, Raelle is going to be in the middle of this riot. Now, I do know that in the last trailer, we saw Alder giving a speech and somebody throwing like a firebomb or something at her. And Raelle like pushing her down. This could be the same thing. Could be they gave a speech and it could, this is a protest or a riot and she's just caught in the middle of it. But she does see Scylla, and Scylla kind of sees her and then vanishes. Now I know there's a lot of Raelle and Scylla love out there. I love the actress Camellia who plays Scylla. I think she's sweet and talented and gorgeous, but I don't really want her and Raelle to get back together. I know that's probably gonna get me some hate. But if you've known me and followed me since season 1, since the pilot, I literally covered this show the week it first aired. I did my first review. I think I did the review from the very first trailer of the show, before it became popular. And I have shipped Abigail and Raelle the entire effing time. And if you saw how they were looking at each other in the last episode, I feel justified in everything I said in my reviews last year. So just throwing it out there. But yeah, I am really looking forward to this. There seems to be a lot of stuff going on. We see Penelope, we see a train being derailed, which we know is probably a Camerera attack, because I think in the preview we saw people on a train that they got the Black Plague bomb thrown at them. So I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Everyone was probably affected on the train. The fact that Gregorio is doing this shush thing to, Tally, Raelle, and Abigail, actually it looks like he's only doing it to Tally because of how, Abigail's face looks when she looks at Tally. Like, why is he doing this? So obviously maybe he's in on something that Tally's in on, which is more than likely what Alder tells her in the preview not to say anything about, to keep your mouth shut. So basically Alder is saying, don't tell anyone anything. Like, be quiet. It's good to keep secrets. And I'm like, this is why I say Alder's a little shady. She's been around for 300 years. 300 years in power. You're bound to do something shady. I'm sorry. I'm just throwing it out there. But I don't know. I think that we've definitely got a little bit more insight, but we're probably nowhere near what the darkness and the absolute insanity of the season is going to be about. I also believe that we saw M, who's supposed to be a non-binary character. I think they are the ones that has no hair and it keeps glaring at them in one of the sneak peeks we saw for season 2, for the next episode. But we'll see. I'm really curious. It would be really interesting if they are in the same coven as our girls. So that's like I said, a lot is going on in this show, and I'm excited for all of it. And I think they're going to answer a lot of the questions we had, especially what do male witches actually do in the army? What do they actually do besides procreate and make weapons? We are finally going to get an answer. And then maybe we'll also get to see the witch father again. Because, I mean, if not, I'm trying to figure out why Gregorio is actually walking around in war college with women when it's supposed to be all women. So on the Matreon line, it's very interesting. But yeah, I'm excited. I want to know what you guys think. So please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next in Nerd Bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.